Hi folks, my name is Pramod Kumar Kochappa. I'm an Indian. I would like to share some of the things which I've been through my life. I think it should benefit the youngsters of today and tomorrow also. I joined the Merchant Navy in 1971 at the age of 17 and and when I first got my shore leave, I went and saw my friends wearing a uniform. They were very impressed by it. And that time was the political time over there. And one of the booth was managed by my friends. When I went over there, they sold all the paper stickers and everything. With that, they bought a bottle of whiskey, a quarter of bottle of whiskey, and we had that. And one of my friends was smoking cheras. It's hashish, I think, for the rest of the world. And I smoked it, and and I got hooked onto it. I enjoyed it so much that I knew that throughout my life, that kind of a feeling which I get in my mind, in my body, everywhere, will not be available in any other addiction. In my life, I was addicted to three things: charas, ganja, and alcohol. For 3 years, I was a cadet on the ship, and when I got down for my examination, my friends used to go and do the job. I used to be sitting in a charas den and smoking charas, and in the evening they would come down, and then I used to drink with them. This went on for 2 or 3 years. Actually, after finishing 3 years of cadetship on a ship, people pass their examination in 2 or 3 months. Beg your pardon. But it took me exactly 2 years to pass my examination. And then in 1977, when I became a certified officer, I was a navigator. Navigation was my job when the ship was in sea, and looking after the cargo, assisting the chief officer in loading and discharging of the cargo was the duty given to me when the ship was ashore and tied up in the pier. We friends used to, when we meet in the evening, we would travel in taxi from one place to another place to smoke charas or drink or things like that. All my money went into that. I didn't save any money. My father came to know about all these things, and I was referred to a psychiatrist. In India, it is still a thing, it is still a feeling that a person who sees a psychiatric is a mad person, must be keep out of him, which is not the case in the West. Here, the doctor, his name I would like to not mention here, he said I have to be given an electric shock. I was given electric shock. After that 15 days I was in the hospital, came out. It took me just 2 days to go back to the same charas and drinks, and my father was very much worried. In this period, I was good in my studies in school. I studied smoking. I was young, so I could tolerate it. Somehow I passed my examination and went back on the ship as a certified second officer of the Merchant Navy. All these things went on, and people on board the ship, because we had a contract of 7 months, 9 months contracts, and few of the persons came to know that I was hooked to charas. Though I never smoked it on board the ship, they came to know that I used to smoke cheras when I was ashore. And a time came after 19 years of serving in the Merchant Navy. I was a good navigator. That's what my superior used to tell me. How far it is true or false, I'm not sure. After 19 years, I quit the job because I wanted to join a foreign company. I joined a foreign company, wages were good. I was an alcoholic, and after that, since I had lost 2 years for my examination, I completed my 18 months for the required seat time required for appearing for the chief mate's examination. I completed it on one particular ship only, and in that also I used to be drinking heavily. And then when I came back after that, I had to again see a psychiatrist, and he said that he has to be given a shock now, electric shock. This way, in my life, I was given four shocks, and for 42 years of my life, even till date, I've been taking antibiotics, allopathy medicines. Drug addicts are smart. The doctor which you prescribed the medicine, out of that I could pick out a tablet and tell them it is giving me the kick, and I used to forget about the other tablets and take excess of this tablet, which is called as Trinicam Plus, in excess. If the doctor says you take 3 a day, I would take 10 to 12 to 15 a day. And my doctor, he came to know about all these things, but for 17 to 18 years he treated me. Because of him I'm still alive, otherwise I would have been dead and gone by now. I was sent to a rehabilitation center. I stayed there for 6 months. In that 6 months, every night I would get only 1 hour of sleep. They never gave any medications. So for 6 months, I used to sleep only 1 hour in the night, and rest 23 hours I used to be awake or indulge myself in. I have to study a lot of things in the rehabilitation centers, like therapeutic duty assignments and things like that. I came out from the rehabilitation center. There were professors, lecturers coming and giving us lectures how to get out of this. They say we alcoholics or the people who are chemically dependent have something called as an X factor in us, which makes us go back to the same thing again. And the other thing which the psychiatrist told me was that if I was smoking, say, 10 cigarettes of cheras a day, and I stop, and then after about 4 or 5 days or a week or so, I have to go back to it. Instead of 10, I would smoke about 20 of them. This was true. This is true. And one of my friends said that in the school-going children, when they're in the final examination, these drug peddlers used to befriend them, and during the examination time they would ask them that are you getting scared? The child would say that I am getting scared of the examination. They would say that okay, you take this small tablet and eat it, you will feel better. And they would take it, and they really would feel better. They would answer their questions better, and the next day they would wait for the peddler. The peddler would give it free of this for almost about 12 days, and then when the child went and asked him for the more, he would say, the police are after it, it costs more money, you have to get money for buying it, I can't give you free now. Then the child learns how to steal money from home and give it to these people and get addicted to these tablets. I don't know what these tablets are, but in the rehabilitation center I was told that there are approximately 72 types of drugs. It could be more than that. And my only advice to the children, the teachers, and everybody else, that when the child is in the 7th, 8th standard, he should be told everything about the drugs. Alcohol, of course, they will know, because somebody or the other will be drinking at home, what ill effects it has. But these drugs, regarding the drugs, the school must teach them that how to identify a person who is smoking drugs. And in the rehabilitation center, they told me that faith should be qualitative and not quantitative. Sadness, actual acceptance of loss. Denial and sadness can finally lead to depression. Acceptance, it is not easy to accept grief. Addiction is living without choice. I have a lot of experiences which I had on board the merchant vessel. Even one, when we got drunk in the Suez Bay, we were transiting the Suez Canal. We were anchored at the Suez Bay, going to Port Said on the other side in the Mediterranean Sea. The captain and the chief officer, they had gone to Cairo to see Cairo, because there was 1 or 2 days of anchorage there in the Suez Bay. So when the captain and chief officer, chief engineer, everybody went, we started drinking on board the ship. The drinking got so heavily said that I said that I can transit the Suez Canal without the captain or without any local talent, a pilot or somebody. So the engineer agreed. He said that he will give me the engine, so I have to navigate. We took a long drink, and by the grace of God, I passed out. If this had not happened, that would have been a big tragedy, a lot of collisions, and I might have been imprisoned for life or sentenced to death for doing this. So many other things which are there happened in my life. And ultimately, I got married when I was 41. My wife was a good person. I had a baby boy, but then I could not work. Of course, 1 or 2 contracts I did. She was happy, my wife was happy with that. She took the money and she used it for the boy, my son. But later on she said that if you don't work, I have to divorce you, which she did. And for 17 to 18 years, I didn't work. My brothers, my sisters, my mother, everybody would look after me. And my mother wanted me to get off this thing. My father had expired in the due course of time. And my mother, even at the age of 75, 80, she would take me to the doctor, get me back from the go to a doctor, a psychiatrist, and see this thing. And the most important medicine which I used to take excessively was called a Trinicam Plus, and that affects your eyesight. I never had any spectacles to wear, but as I had started abusing this tablet, my eyesight started going bad, and now I wear a bifocal spectacle. And my mother died at the age of 81, so everybody had to look after themselves. By selling her house, I had a little bit of money with which I went to Ganesh Puri It's a spiritual place and rented a small house and I'm staying there. The money which I have is barely minimum, but it is okay. At least I am out of the drugs. My doctor still calls me once in 2 months and prescribes me medicine. These medicines, like the Trinicam Plus and all, were freely available in all the medical shops till almost about 3 years back. Now then the government put a clause saying that the prescription should be there and it should be stamped that the medicine has been supplied. So the persons cannot take any excess medicine. Anyway, now I'm 62. My son is in the Navy. My wife she wanted to go to Dubai. Her father expired, she came back. Now she has to work here. At the age of 62, I have nothing to do now. My son comes home once in 6 to 7 months' time, spends about a day or two with me. My wife doesn't come to see me at all. Once in a while, maybe she will give me a call and talk to me. At this period of time, when there's nothing to do, I go to the temple and sit in the temple and try to meditate, which is impossible with this kind of mind and body damage. So I'm sincerely waiting, quietly waiting for death. Friends, I could talk of a number of hours on this subject, but the youngsters somehow must be made aware of these things. Thank you very much.